Hi everyone, welcome back. So in this final video, we're going to be testing the API that we've been developing. So a couple of things from the previous video. I've basically copied all the files in this file over here, and I've moved them into the tutorial one since we already finished it. And the reason I did that is because this tutorial one file already has most of the libraries like Flask and stuff like that, and Flask RESTful, so we don't have to download them again from scratch. But you can do whatever I do right now in this text similarity file, right? So you don't have to copy this into the tutorial one folder. I just moved it so I don't have the internet connection isn't very good, so I've just copied it there too, so that Docker Compose can cache some of the previously downloaded libraries, and instead of downloading it again from scratch, you can just access it from there. Okay, so I'm going to go into tutorial one, but if you've been following so far, then so let's see, so go back and then go into tutorial one, and then if you've been following so far, you just pretend that you're inside text similarity, right? So if you open here, this is exactly the same file, everything is the same, the app.py file is the same, right? So this is what we've been writing, right? Register, detect, and refill. So this API is exactly what you've been writing, and the whole file structure is the same. So just pretend that you're in text similarity, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is to do sudo docker compose build. So we're going to build the project. So you'll see here that it's going to, whoops. Oh, okay, so I need to copy first of all this file because it's not inside tutorial one, so that's the only thing I haven't copied it yet. So I'm going to copy this file here, that the model that we use in Spacey, and then I'm going to do, so let's first clear, and then we're going to do sudo docker compose build, okay? So it's going to build the model, and it's going to tell me it successfully built the model. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to sudo docker compose up, and then I'm gonna, so it should be running now, and then you will see it's running on localhost 5000. Okay, so let's now open Postman. Okay, so we're going to open Postman, and in the meantime, while it opens, let's open the API to see how we expect the input to be. Okay, so we come here, then I'm going to say sudo atom, and then here. So I want to open Atom here. Okay, so now it has opened. Okay, so this is Atom over here. This is our API. It's at slash, so let's close this here. So this is our application. So the first thing is for the registration, right? So we go at slash register, and it's expecting a username and a password. Okay, so I'm going to come to Postman, and then I'm going to write, let's go to body, and delete that, and then let's go to localhost 5000 / register, okay? And then for here, let's say I have a JSON that I send username as Farouk, so my name, and password, I'm gonna write my password as 123, okay? So very, very simple password. And so I'm gonna send this so that I can register in the API. So I'm gonna send this. And then the response is status 200, so I've successfully signed up for the API, right? For the message, you successfully signed up for the API. Great, so now I have registered for the API. So now I'm going to be comparing, so if I go to the second thing is detect, right? And detect expects a username, password, text1, and text2, okay? So I'm gonna go back to Postman, and then I'm gonna write comma. So I have a username and my password, but this time I'm going to give it text1 as, for example, this is a cute dog, okay? And then for text2, I'm going to write, wow, what a cute dog, okay? So they're very similar, right? They're saying, or for example, I can write, the dog is so cute, okay? So I'm saying in one, this is a cute dog, and wow, the dog is so cute, and an exclamation mark. And then it's going to tell me how close these two texts are, or how similar they are. So hopefully it should give us a relatively high number, right? So not exactly 1, because they're different sentences, obviously, but they're also very similar, right? They relate to each other. Okay, so let's try to use the service. So I'll send text. and it tells me it's an invalid username. That's interesting. Oh, okay, I see. So we haven't changed /register, so this should be /detect. Okay, so not register, but so that's why it's telling me an invalid username, because my username is already taken. So it tells me choose another one, right? But we want to detect and not invalid username, and not register. Okay, so we're going to send this again, this JSON file again, and then you notice here that it tells me, let's see if I can make it bigger. Not quite. Not exactly in Postman. You would notice here it tells me similarity score calculated successfully. Ratio is 0.665. So it's close to 1, right? It's not super far away. So you can think of it as this is 66.5% similar. So these two sentences are 66.5% similar, and that's fair enough, right? They're talking about the same thing, but not necessarily in the same format, right? So this is the similarity between them. And then status is 200. So what about if we change, for example, cute to beautiful? So beautiful, okay? Would that be change the score? Obviously it would. So now it's 62.29%. But you can still see that even though I changed it from cute to beautiful, then it still knows the similarity, right? And this is the power of natural language processing, right? That it's able to find that these two sentences are similar, even though except I only have this dog, right? Dog here that are exactly the same, but the sentences are two different sentences, but it still finds the similarity as 62%. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay, so what happens if I keep abusing the system, right? I use all my 6 tokens. I'm going to keep sending requests, keep sending until I run out of tokens, so we can test the last token, okay? So hopefully, yeah. So it says, message, you're out of tokens. Please refill, status 303. Okay, so that's the error. Now I need to refill. So I'm going to write refill, and then username, my username. So let me just copy this before I delete it. So I'm going to write username is Farouk. Admin password is ABC123, right? ABC123. And we're going to delete this text1 and text2. And we're going to give it the refill amount. So I'm going to write refill, and then, for example, 4. So I'm going to give myself 4 tokens. Okay? So let's send that at /refill, and it says refilled successfully, status 200. Now, if I try to access the API again, so I'm going to write the same to /detect, the same JSON file to detect, and I send it. Then it tells me similarity score calculated. So now I have 3 tokens left. Now I can actually change this, and I can write, for example, same sentence, and then here I would write also same sentence, and then it should be very close to 1, right? So because they're exactly the same sentences. So if I send them, then you would notice here that the ratio is 1. Okay, exactly 1. So these sentences are exactly identical. So yeah, this is basically the entire API. It has three ends or hit points: register, detect, refill. We've tested it and it works fine. Everything is working cool. So yeah, we're going to stop here, and I'll see you in the next video. So until the next video, happy coding.